We are, guys. This is the perfect coach build. We ended up going to from this. Let me give you guys a brief description. Again, we are here as a SHOWKING. This is the head coach to kind of give you guys an idea of how we went about this, right? First thing you got to do, you start off as Georgia because you need that CEO head coach that Georgia has. And then we're going to go in really quickly, just give you an idea of the different stats that head coach has that we want to utilize. Boom, this is great. Dream School. This allows you to get those top 5 recruiting classes unlocked quickly within your first 2 years. Again, I've seen different people do the perfect coach build. The key, I think personally, is trying to get it done as fast as possible so you could have the most years as possible with this perfect coach build that you guys want, right? Then probably the most important thing that my coach is going to have and your coach probably should have as well, because we have 362 points. We're only at level 45 right now. That means we have 50 more points that we can earn. This bundle discount is super important to be able to purchase when you move on to your next school. Again, right now we're in 2026. This is the earliest I've ever been able to get it done. I've never seen anybody able to get it done earlier to kind of get to this point where you're going into your next journey as basically finding the coaches that you want. For me, I ended up picking 2 elite recruiters, but again, it's more of like having to fish it out, having to go in, make sure the teams with the coaches that you want lose out, force losses for them. And you do this with pretty much everybody under the brackets that you want, because you may not actually get the chance to hire them. Luckily enough, I was able to get 2 elite recruiters. I will show you that shortly, but just going over, these are the 2 things that the Georgia head coach has, right? As seen in previously, like I actually did a build with North Carolina and then I transferred over and got hired as Georgia, building up through that way. Again, that process takes a lot longer, and I wasn't using the fastest XP gains, which I'm using on this one. We want to be able to get our coach to where we need to be as fast as possible so that we can use our coach to be able to create the potential 99 overall team and kind of, beat College Football 25 in that regard. Obviously, I want to be able to save this coach so I can use this coach to rebuild, the worst teams in the league and things of that sort, College Football 25. But that's where we're at so far. So again, this particular coach, Neil has certain limitations, so you can't get maximum, discounts out of this coach build. And then you have the coordinator who is at a lower level and he's progressing, but again, you're limited because of the head coach who is maxed out. So we ended up getting, max discounts in these 2 parts here, these 2 parts here, these 3 parts here. We don't touch kickers and punters. We don't touch cross training. So just to give you guys an idea, let's take a look at SHOWKING, our head coach. So we got them maximum discounts, 2 discounted points on each of these points up until the point where, again, our head coach and our defensive coordinator have aligned. We were also able to get max points in these spots here. And how I like to do my build out, how I've been kind of thinking about best ways to do it, is I want to max out every spot here except for cross training. Max these out and then leave scheme rule alone. No points into there. I potentially want to open up architect and talent developer and take some discounted points out of there. So I'm going to need to eventually find architects and talent developers on both sides to be able to maximize my discounts in those 2 portions. But again, you should be able to get max from, again, I want to get to level 3 on everything except for kicker here and motivator. Not everybody necessarily thinks that motivator is a great idea, but for a build like this, I think it's essential to get the first 3 tiers in every spot except for specialists, kickers and punters. I think there's too many wasted points to kind of get to the tier 3 of increase all XP gains for offensive linemen, because I think that those same points can go better into talent developer and architect. I haven't gotten to that point yet. We are working on this together, guys. You know what I mean? I'm going to let you guys in on the journey and upload accordingly. So next, recruiter. pivotal to being able to get the most talent possible in the recruiting space, right? Again, we're limited because of our CEO head coach. There's only but so much we can get out of him. So this is where we've been able to get our maximum discounts. Luckily, Elite Recruiter is almost unlocked on our side. It's not unlocked quite yet, but it will be soon. So that's no issues. Now to get to our head coaches, or not our head coach, excuse me, our coordinators, right? Just to give you guys an idea, I was able to sign 2 elite recruiters as our coordinators. Hopefully we get a couple of years with them so we can really maximize everything, and get it going. We're going to start building up our recruiting class. We're going to start building up our team. We're going to start simming. Again, there's a lot of simming involved in this type of process. A lot of forced wins and forced losses depending on how you want to go about your business. And again, I do want 2 architect coordinators, and I do want 2 talent developer coordinators, which is going to probably take a bit more time. So I have to be mindful of where those coaches are and to probably get them fired at a later date. I'm not necessarily worried about it right now because I need to get my elite recruits coordinators into my elite recruiting stage. So next, to kind of give you an idea about where you should be looking after season's over, you should go right into staff moves, guys, and then you're going to go in and you're going to do hired. Now be mindful, depending on what you want to do for a build out, you want to look and see what the coaches that are being hired are best at, based off of what you're trying to make for your build. And then you want to take note of where they're at and do your best to constantly keep note. And if you try to get them fired and they don't get fired, got to go again, because you want to be able to get an opportunity to hire these coaches so you can do your best to get maximum discounts. Now, talent developer, boom. I'm going to take note of this guy right here. This is key because that's something that I want. Architect, another thing you want to take note of, right, guys? This is what potentially for my build, I haven't made my decisions yet, but you want to take note of the architects, right? Because if this is what kind of build you're trying to look for, these are the things that you're going to have to take note of, right? And then even potentially you can actually end up signing these head coaches, usually in week 3. Sometimes you get lucky in week 2, rarely in week 1. So definitely make your save points. You could potentially go back and kind of try to get a respawn out of it. You know what I mean? See, you get a re-roll, see if you get luckier with the coaches pool. Again, your save points you want to be at week 15 before the bowl game, and then week 1 of before the week 15 before the conference championship games, and then week 1 of the bowl games you want to save point there. Week 2 you want to save point there, and then week 3 is the final week for being able to hire coaches, X, Y, and Z. And that's another thing when it comes to the team you want to pick. You have to do some decent re-rolling in regards to that. You want to make sure that the team loses as many games as possible when you're forced losing. Again, in this situation, I ended up getting it with UM. I kind of felt like they'd be one of the best schools to be able to get this potential 99 overall school. And again, nostalgia. My favorite college football team. I want to bring them back to the early 2000s, 1999, 98. And then in the mid to late 80s and early 90s, I want to bring them back to the glory days where they had the best teams in America. So just to give you guys an idea, that's where we're at, right? And let's see here if there's any more architects. Elite recruiter that I hired. Oh, here's another. Oh, hold up. Where was it? Another architect right here. Again, just keep note, keep it in your mental Rolodex, write it down, take a screenshot, whatever is easier for you, whatever you prefer. There's a lot of motivators, a lot of master motivators, a lot of tacticians. Strategists, I think, is a complete waste. It's completely pointless because another thing I've learned with recruiting, you really don't even need to do visits unless it's like crunch time and you got extra points and things like that. But again, I was talking about this before. Program builders. There's a lot of program builders. If you want to try to get discount in program builder, I don't necessarily think it's important for my build. But if you want to go, pipeline heavy, things like that, and that's what you think is your perfect best coach, perfect coach, you can go ahead and find some program builders. You know, hopefully you get lucky with offensive and a defensive coordinator program builder, and then you get discounts, 2 discount points, and be able to purchase that program builder if that's what you want. Again, it's something that I take note of just in case, but I doubt I'm going to utilize it. But hey, it's there for you guys if you want it. You know what I mean? It's definitely there. Another architect at TCU. And that's it. All right, guys. So again, that's where we're at right now. I want to keep you guys updated on how we do, where we spend the rest of our points, and, you know, us building out this perfect coach SHOWKING at UM. Thank you, guys.